Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the June 28, 2025 installment of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and various other platforms, or catching up with us on replay. And we ask that you click that like, that subscribe, that bell, and share to support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy, nice as the word saint spelled backwards. And today, my co-hosts are Brother Walk, host of Sex Talk with Walk, Thursday at 9 p.m. Grown heterosexual conversations. We got Brother Afro Agnostics, star of Afro Agnostics, so he's going to be talking about that at some point. But also co-star of Objective Deconstruction. We got Student X, star of Mutant Politics. What's going on with you, Brother Student X? We have Infamous El Pooh, star of Spin That Back. Today, Spin That Back, we're going to be talking about what?
We're going to be talking about the original West Coast gangster, Ice-T.
That's what's up.
Player
That's what's
from
up.
LA, cooler than any J.
That's what's up. And, of course, we got the boss man, Mr. Floyd X. Oh, man, he's supposed to do his thing. I set you up nicely.
Move on. Let's move on. It's going to his head.
And First Lady J, she might pop in, but she will hold her down just the same. So that having been said, what's going on with you, Brother Walk?
Man, I'm out here. I'm in Iran looking for evidence with my team for the evidence of the bombing to see what happened. We brung plenty of shovels. That's the only way we're gonna see, because they very way down there. Yeah. Salute to Donald Trump.
Brother Afro Agnostics, what's going on with you?
Oh man, I'm chilling, man. Since we in the joking mood, it's a struggle, man. It's hard out here being a black heterosexual man. Right to next. I'm struggling against all these homosexuals and transex. They just taking over, man. But I'm here.
Student X, what's going on with you? Back in the dojo, sir.
Hey man, hey, chilling, man. Hey, I'm happy to be here, man. And Afro, he reminds me of exactly why. I love that background, by the way, too. That's dope. But look, shout out to Iran. Shout out Thomas Massey, Candace Owens, Rep Taylor Green. And by the way, man, I'll never let y'all sucker me into some stuff again, man. Sinners sucked. Sinners sucked.
So I agree with the last part.
Hey, that was one of the best movies of 2025. We're gonna have to have a debate on that, Student X. That was a great movie.
Wow.
I love vampire movies, and I mean, man, I was disappointed, honestly, but that's another topic, another day.
Oh, Student X, have you ever seen a show called Midnight Mass?
Midnight Mass? It doesn't ring a bell.
I'm telling you, look it up. I don't want to say nothing else about it. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Infamous El Pooh, what's going on with you? What to do better?
Man, just waiting for the heat to come along and trying to get through it,
Ouch. Okay.
Besides everything.
Mr. Floyd X, boss man.
I'm a boss. I'm not with that. It's never nothing no more. Like, I look like a boss. I feel like a boss. I taste like a boss, nigga. Max Bigger Van.
What's going on, man?
All right, man. So, anyways, let's get to the gift. First thing up, rest in peace to brother. I'm gonna put it up here. Rest in peace to Walter Scott of the Whispers, one of the twins. This I believe this group started, they said in 1964 at Jordan High. And the music came out in the 70s, but these brothers, they were still knocking out hits in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So, I know Mr. Walk, me and Walk always go back and forth about, old people still making music, but they was old people still making music, and they was a bop. But anyways, rest in peace to that brother and his magnificent mustache. You got something bad to say about him, Brother Walk?
Yeah, that was a serious mustache them brothers had. Serious mustache. Rest in peace. I love the Whispers. My whole life grew up off of them. I just gotta say this: if you say yes, I'll do the rest.
That's what's up. Anybody else got something to say about that legendary brother?
Yeah, it came out of Watts, California. The Jordan Downs projects, ran track and everything, started singing. Made their first hit like in 1970. Well, it seems like I Can't Do Right. What was the name of the song? Well, either way, they started, singing. They started making records like 1970. Got with Solar Records like in the late 70s. Started working with LA and Babyface early in their careers and everything. Yeah, and they made some hits. It was only people that I know that had made a song and said, "She baba dee da doop doo dee." Hey Scotty, hey, what that mean? And he had to break it down for him.
Yeah.
What about things to next?
Another interesting fact is that their music had been sampled over 131 times and featuring like 600 musical compilations. So they're well recognized and they represented the Watts in LA well.
Yes, sir.
Rest in peace. And on that note, rest in peace. We're gonna give you a Diddy trial update, and I would say rest in peace to his freedom because it's going.
Is that right? You think, bro? Look, I'm sorry, I want to off, get our kilter, but bro, the prosecution's case was super weak. Now, I mean, my understanding was this was a case to show that there was sex trafficking and that Diddy was some sort of running some sort of criminal enterprise, but instead all we got was a case that showed yes, there's some debauchery, some immorality, bit of excess, playboy lifestyle, but I didn't see any of that other stuff, man. He's going free. He's going free. I don't know if this was deliberate, or because it was brought underneath. This case was brought under the Biden administration, so I don't know if this was like deliberate, hey, let's just, get him exonerated and now he can continue to operate. I mean, I don't know. What I mean?
Let me ask you a question, Student X.
Yes, sir.
Did he pay for prostitutes?
You said, did he pay for prostitutes?
Yeah. Did he solicit? Did he purchase? I don't know what the term they use when you purchase a prostitute. You rent them, whatever. The bottom line is, did he pay? Did he consume prostitution?
I mean, I would imagine,
Okay, so yes. Did he fly prostitutes from one state to another state?
No, any of the testimony I saw, everyone was a consensual adult. There was no transactions, like that.
Order in the case. Not trying to trigger off your 65250, but the question is, did he flew out prostitutes? Well, the answer is yes. I'm just saying that that's trafficking. That's what it is. So you're saying that the case wasn't proven. That's it. That was proven. Whether he gets the hammer, we don't know because the jury can do anything. But we'll see.
There's a saying out there that says you can't rape the willing.
I can't rape the willing.
Yeah,
listen, I think
actually, you can rape anybody.
I think Diddy's going to go free. It's going to be, oh yeah, he didn't do no crime. No, that jury is going to be like, let him go. I used to get surprised, but once that Megan Thee Stallion case, you think it's going to go one way, then it go the other way, so you have no idea where he's going to go. I'm going to go with that. He's going to go free. He's going to walk home and be a happy man with his family again. He's going to get right back to the freak offs, and ain't nothing nobody going to do about it.
I mean, brothers,
I don't think anybody on the panel here is a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer either, but like legal analysts and experts in the field, the consensus is that the prosecution laid out a very strong case. That's what the experts in law, that's what they feel. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. It was 6 weeks of prosecution, hours of testimony and points being made. I don't think any of us paid attention to each and every little things in the paper, but we were not there to hear. We were not there during the court case. So his defense was only 30 minutes. So I think he's really conceding and throwing himself at the mercy of the court. How you go defend 30 minutes? All these charges and accusations against you, your defense is 30 minutes. I think that's
the case was. I mean, these guys are confident coming in, bro, because like I said, at the end of the day, the burden of proof is with who? The prosecution, to show that, they prove their case. And, I did not watch every moment of it. I definitely looked at updates, but I could definitely, direct you to a few lawyers. I'm looking at one right now, that had absolutely said, that this was not, something that was done well by the prosecution at all. We're about to find out, because they're deliberating right now.
I totally agree with Agnostic on this one, because they put on a 6-week trial. 6-week case against Diddy, and you coming with 30 minutes. That alone is malpractice on his attorney's fault. On their side, in my opinion. You sitting there banking on that they didn't prove their case. Okay, well, if that's the case, why didn't you get up there, Diddy? Why didn't Diddy get on the stand, Diddy? Diddy, you did a dumb thing. You're going to jail. You're going down. And guess what? It's a weak case, I think, in general, but I'm totally fine with him doing that life sentence over this weak case.
But he wanted to dance all the
videos. Never got charged.
I'm looking at the full witness list right now. The full witness list. And hey, it made for great TV. It was sensational and whatnot, you know what I mean? But hey, mark my words, Diddy will be not found guilty. He would be found not guilty.
Okay, so I don't know what's gonna play out about that. I just want to
put some money on that. Put some money on that. You can do it live right now.
Ding ding.
I don't play with these courts, you know what I mean, like that. But watch, especially in New York, Manhattan. This is in Manhattan. I'm just saying, look, Manhattan jurors heard of this case.
Backtracking.
Like if you walk out, I don't know if you guys hung out in Manhattan before. I've chilled there, and let's just say there are a lot of different, unique moments. It's up there with Frisco. In terms of walk out the street, you might see somebody butt naked walking around, you know what I mean? You might see, a lot of different, situations, in Manhattan, especially, as you get to the hours morning, so these guys, they're not going to be mesmerized by all this, that they heard, at the bottom line, yes, debauchery, immoral, you know what I mean? But criminal, nah, they didn't prove this case.
I don't think you're familiar with like a lot of racketeering cases. You don't have to show a smoking gun. All you have to do is show that there was a business taking place. This functioned like a business.
This same team couldn't even take down Trump with the amount of evidence you guys said they had on him, bro. They're not. This Diddy's not going down here. Watch.
All you gotta do is show a picture of somebody at the cash register. A picture of somebody showing up. Okay.
Didn't Trump get convicted? But anyways, let's not even go about that. Anyway, so on top of that, on top of all of this, Diddy's son is catching some situations, some heat, some accusations. What's going on with your brother Mark Carm the Sixth? You got that video you want to play? Infamous El Poo. These are just allegations.
Yeah, let me bring this up here real quick.
Sorry to catch you off guard. Yeah. Even though I said, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Sean Diddy Combs' son Justin has been accused of orchestrating an alleged gang. Amid Diddy's federal sex trafficking trial, the 31-year-old and his dad are facing a civil lawsuit from a woman who alleges she was drugged and sexually assaulted by 3 masked men during a 2017 trip to Los Angeles arranged by Justin, according to court documents obtained by E! News on June 26th. In the complaint, the woman alleges that Justin, who she said she met through Snapchat, flew her out from New Orleans under the guise that he would get her a position with remote TV in Atlanta through his and his father's connections. Upon her arrival, the woman says she spent time at a Beverly Hills home consuming alcohol and marijuana, which she believed was laced due to the effect it had on her. Following the alleged intoxication, the lawsuit states that 3 masked men arrived and took turns raping the plaintiff, both anally and orally, while she was drugged and incapacitated from Saturday evening until midday Sunday.
So that's a mess. That's accusations, and it's kind of, if you're incapacitated, you do wonder how you recall this type of stuff. But I'm sure there's more information to it why that would be the case. Go ahead, brother Afro.
And I want to say, man, we got political prisoners still in prison today for racketeering cases. Mutulu Shakur, did a long stint. That's Tupac's stepdad. You got Sekou Odinga and others. Che Malik, accused of trying to blow up the Statue of Liberty, Geronimo Pratt. They don't have to have a smoking gun or any material evidence. They put these pieces together and it shows a picture of a criminal enterprise, like the Freak-Offs were a criminal, was a business. There was business transactions around that. Though that was an institution, that was an establishment that paid people and did so forth.
And it was interstate. So that ever said, yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. At the end of the day, 12 people will decide, and they can go this way or that way. So that's the one thing about our justice system. So we don't know how it's going to play out. We'll find out. So up next, what we have. Anybody else want to say about anything about his son before we pivot to Sister Braxton?
I don't know that story about his son.
Video.
Yeah, I wouldn't even play that. That's AI. Anything AI, I don't believe it until it's on a credible source.
So we actually sourced it out and verified it. I agree. Once I heard that, I saw that voice. I go, El Poo, I don't know if this
came
is
from
legit.
a credible source, though.
But I went on and I found various articles from various reputable things. All that stuff they were saying it's absolutely, that case is really real, and those the accusations are real. I'm not saying what
right now it's just accusations. It's not a court. It's a
lawsuit. It's a lawsuit. It's
right.
It's accusations and a lawsuit. It's it's
He's
real
been
news.
accused. He's not been charged.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Walk. You was about to say something. Sound like you were about to say something.
We shouldn't have played that video, but yeah.
Unlike that quote unquote new evidence in the Megan case, which is not real.
Mr. Floyd X. So, anyways, let's talk about you talking about the bodyguard said, "Oh, I overheard a conversation." Anyways, Sister Braxton.
That is new evidence. You're welcome back. You can come back in.
So Sister Braxton, she went to her son's graduation. And there's some scuttlebutt about her outfit. I mean, she's a grown-ass woman, but this seemed like an awful lot at your son's graduation. But I mean, what you got to say about this, Walk? How'd you feel? How would you feel about this?
Oh, it was totally inappropriate, borderline disgusting. Seriously, for one, you're too old to be doing that for a clout chase or thirst trap or whatever you was doing. We know you just broke up with Birdman, ugly ass, but you're out there putting that out there like that at your son's graduation for Morehouse? Come on now. Too much. If that was me, if I was the son, I would have been like, Mom, I'm not going to the graduation if you going like that. See, sometimes you got to draw a hard line with people. I'm that type of person. I'm going to make a statement somehow so we're so over the top. You're going to concede to what I got going to say.
Yeah, Afro-agnostic, you got something to say about this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, let me say, the attire was inappropriate for that because I mean it was something that you would wear to the Grammys or more adult, sexy type of event, or surroundings. You're around kids and so forth. But I think that what happened was because she's dropping a new album, and this is just this is a publicity stunt. I think she made like an arrangement or like an agreement with her son, it's going to benefit him financially as well because, her album sales and stuff. And she is never too old to wear that, Walk. I have to disagree with you. With a voice like Toni Braxton, that's one of my favorite singers, hands down.
Hey, did you say he graduated from Morehouse?
Yeah, wasn't that Morehouse?
That's kind of grown. I thought it was high school.
That's what I'm saying. Those are grown-ups. So I'm just clarifying that. So yeah, Student X, you got something to say about this?
Yeah. It's just odd that I find myself in this predicament where I'm gonna defend the sister. I mean, look, this is Toni Braxton. You know what I mean? She's like, she's a star. Albums coming out. So to me, that wasn't too over the top. For the occasion, in this situation now, had it been like an ordinary, everyday mom, that no one knows about and all that good stuff, yeah, I have more of a problem with it. But since this is Toni Braxton, she's the star. She's not stealing from her son's, a glamour. I don't have a problem with them. But I tell you what, I do have a problem with. Did y'all see that outfit that Carter Bryant allowed his mom and sister to put him in at the NBA draft?
Nah, I didn't see it.
Oh my God. It oozed feminine energy. It was ridiculous. You know what I mean? That the brother, allowed himself to come out like that. You know what I mean? Go check it out. Carter Bryant, San Antonio Spurs. Hopefully he's going to be a good one. I'm going to watch him, but my God, I'm already disappointed. We'll see what happens.
I will yield my time to Afro Agnostics if you want to retort to that.
No. I mean, to me, these are social constructs. We can't define these things. They're ill-defined. But,
Boss man, what's your take on this?
I ain't got nothing to say about Toni Braxton. I ain't got nothing to say about it.
All right, infamous El Pooh.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that she's still looking good. Hey, so it's all right with me.
Amen. All right, so what we got up next after that?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna need to do it. Jim Jones versus Nas. Okay, so I remember the very particulars of it. He just kind of casually put it out there, like pitting himself against Nas. And he was like, when we got some initial pushback, he was like, look, if you check the hits, if you check the charts, you'll see that my work outdid his work. That's what he was talking in the beginning. Once they fact checked him, then he flipped it to my impact on the youngsters. This dude steady talking like he got YN energy, all super great up and stuff like that. Brother, you are old cat too. But anyways, you got something to say about this brother Brother Walk?
This is just pure foolishness, to be honest. And this is kind of what's wrong with the internet and society right now. People got microphones and cameras and they say stupid shit and it gets attention for the person that they talk about. Come on now. If he was talking about somebody else, you talking about Nas, pitting yourself against Nas. Nas' first album, listen to it, I felt like I was in Queensbridge, son. Like he was painting pictures, bro. I wanted to roll the one leg up and put the big old cell phone. And come on, you ain't did that, Jim Jones, nowhere in your history of even before Mace even taught you how to rap. Mace of all people. Come on, idiot talk, and it's not cool. I agree with Benzino take on that, where he's like, come on, we can't even entertain foolishness, not just because somebody says something.
Hey, Walk, you sound like what's the name? Shannon Sharp. He wanted to challenge him on it, and he spoke about it. They had an interview. Check this clip out.
But lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. And the things
I can be in the church house. You can't ever Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, I know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas. You're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you. Ain't
nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody.
It got a little more heated also, but in the beginning, let me show the beginning. He almost copped out because Shannon Sharp asked him a specific question.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well, as far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo.
He almost copped out. Yeah, I was smoking that good shit. That's why I said it. But they've been going back and forth, and then what people did is they dug up an old video of Nas dissing Jim Jones back in 2005. I'm assuming that's when the song Ballin' was out and it was big. But they asked him about it. So this is what Nas had to say in 2005.
It was just either one more MC, and I don't think no MC will step to you after that anymore, period.
But it got, honestly, I can't, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. He was so nice about him. How did you do that? What's the first sentence? about you ready it up there. I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record.
Salute.
Word. It's beneath you. You got something to say about this, brother Afro Agnostic?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it was when Lord Jamar wanted to debate Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, man, you're not even qualified. But I think Jim Jones is, I agree with everything Walt said. I agree with everything Walt said, and I think Jim Jones is conflating his, continued influence in the streets. I mean, he's more outside than Nas. He's more, I don't know, he's maybe more street credibility right now. I mean, he's continuously, been kind of active. So I think he's conflating that with like his rapping. The two are kind of merged.
This dude is not on the level. Honestly, you're not even a heavyweight of your own group. You know what I'm saying? You really just need to dial it back. I mean, I just can't even begin to understand why this guy thinks he's so great. You know, the one song that I like from Jim Jones, when I think about Jim Jones, is Pop Champagne. It's a fun song. He's not that MC. He's not that dude. Nothing about him is that dude. You know what I'm saying? So he's just a guy. He's a real guy. I'm not trying to discredit. I'm not trying to knock his manhood, but I'm just saying that, this dude acts like he's got his thumb on what hip hop is. And really hip hop is way bigger than just, your little fashion outfit, your little, whatever. You's an old dude trying to act like you got YN energy. You's an old dude too. So that's what's up.
And that last album he put out, it flopped. He did so much as went to the Blood Park in Compton and was like, that's where they filmed that Certified Gangsters, and he went back, revisited. Numbers was no good. There was no bueno, baby. Come on, just hang it. To be honest, he need to. I don't even want to say retire because I can't even think of his body of work. I hear it. I can't name more than 3 Jim Jones songs. To be honest with you, I really just can't.
I mean, it's so crazy. I can name more Spice One songs than I can from Jim Jones.
Hey, don't compare Spice One to Jim Jones. It's an insult, dude. Come on, man. You can't compare no Spice One to Jim Jones.
I sure can. I mean, I'm giving Spice One his props for real.
One is a West Coast legend, hip hop legend. He is not compared to no Jim Jones. The only thing I would give Jim Jones is a smart businessman. But when I hear all the savvy moves he done, he made $2 million just for introducing setting the meter for what's the name? Kanye West with some white Bitcoin people, and they gave him $2 million. That's smart business. And what's the name? Kanye was pissed off because he didn't know nothing about it. But hey, smart business is business. How they say.
All right, so
no, I still got some more to say about that.
Oh,
I mean, when the new rappers come up and they study old rappers, they're gonna be studying Nas. Ain't nobody gonna think anything about no Jim Jones. And when they think about fashion, they're not gonna think about Jim Jones. What did Jim do?
Oh my goodness. Hey, before we get to the break, let's talk about this whole Charleston White, Island Boy Red. So I understand that Walk isn't a big fan of Charleston White. Honestly, I don't think anybody in this panel is a big fan of Charleston White. But I do respect the business savvy of the dude. He steadily finds himself out here doing stuff. This is an old dude with one eye, still put it on that youngster Island Boy Red. So salute to the OGs, to the unks out there, because it was a victory for the unks, and he did that. So that's what's up. Go check out.
I want to say this about that. Fuck Charleston White. He disrespected my buddy Lil Sody after he passed, and when Lil Sody was alive, Lil Sody's son died in a fire. He was talking shit about Lil Sody's son. Like, if I run into Charleston White, I'm gonna mush both of his ears together. Fuck.
Ooh. Ooh, a horn event.
Yeah, fuck Charleston White. I agree with Walk.
All right, well, I guess time for commercial break. Yeah, exactly. Throw Corey in there.
Yeah, you see how Big Cuz was asking, was that real? When I first saw the video on YouTube, it was real. It looked like it was real grainy and I thought it was a fake, and I never even got around to it, but You know, apparently it was.
Oh, it's very much real. Yeah. It was,
Yeah, some people doctored it to make it look like it was some type of classic, legendary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have to say though, man, I just want to say this, man. Anytime a young boy, you let an old guy weigh $150 with one eye, beat you in a boxing match, man, you need to check out
bro.
work, man.
Bro, OGs is known for mopping up little youngsters, you know what I mean? That want to step, bro. No.
One
I had a situation just yesterday. I thought I was gonna have to mop up, you know, a couple, you know, cats, but it's like the food. You know,
The Brand Trucking for all of your trucking needs. East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast, North to South, South to West. Y'all start the phone number at the end. You got something that you need towed or delivered across states, call that brother. And it won't be no Ricos. It ain't going to be no international. It's just delivering trucks. That's all. Just delivery.
That's gobealive.org. Go get you some of that black honey. And if you want to get it in person, take yourself to the Petty Vice in Venice or to the Afro City Marketplace at the Crenshaw Mall. Sister Nitra.
Turn up the dial, it's 10:30. Be back. Spin that back show, all the classics on track. From 79 to 99, we're crossing the gap. Album reviews, little known facts, hip hop intact. Saturday mornings, dive into the history. Samples and stories, old school mysteries. Emerging self-static, Shiraz and TBD. Roll up out of pain. Turn it up, let the vinyl spin.
I'm going to tell you what, check this out today. 10:30, we're going to be talking about the hustler, the player, the high roller, Ice-T. Check it out. Spin that back show. Saturday mornings, 10:30.
Yeah. Ice-T, West Coast legend. West Coast legend. I think he coined the term OG. Correct me if I'm wrong. If he's not the originator of the term.
Yeah,
He's
wrong.
not the originator. He's not the originator. He's an OG.
You did wrong.
Yeah, but he is that dude. He is an icon. He's an icon because it wasn't just the whole issue of what he meant on the West Coast as music. You talk about breaking. You're talking about the movies, New Jack City. I mean, we're gonna cover it all. But I mean, again, he's an icon. You know,
spin that back. 10:30 a.m. Gore Bar and Lounge. Go check them out. 7123 Franklin Boulevard, right here in Sacramento, California. Go check them out. It's a great environment.
Hey, bro, Floyd, hold up, bro. We've been talking about this for a long time. Let's just go, bro. I'm in Sac, you in Sac. When you want to go, bro? Today?
Oh, we can go today.
Hey, be careful.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. I ain't been yet. You know what I mean? I think we just need to go ahead and just go, bro. Who in Sac right now? Is it just me and Floyd right now?
Yeah, next weekend. Next weekend.
No, okay, there we go. All right.
Also, all right, brother said Ice-T and Body Count are legends.
For sure. I loved it.
Yeah, they got a large following. I only bought the first album from Body Count. That's all I could take in rock and roll.
Cop killer. Sex Talk with Walk. Every Thursday, once every 4 years, I'm gonna do a show. Hey, man, I've been having a lot going on. I'm sorry. I'm in Iran. I'm in an undisclosed location doing some research. So I'm gonna have a good show next time I come through.
I don't know what's in that cup, but I have a bad feeling about how the rest of this show is gonna play out. But anyways, let's talk about this. We finished with the commercials.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and let's talk about it. How are the ICE raids affecting Black employment? You know, Walk, I'm gonna give you first bite of this because I know that you were really talking about it. You felt like the immigration thing really affected us because that's who we were competing with. So now that you see how things are going down,
I don't like when you state my opinion and then just say some shit that's totally wrong. That ain't what I said.
I said I believe, and I was going to give you the floor to clarify. So go ahead, brother. Speak on
it. I think the ICE raids are necessary. I think they need to do more. It's like having a household that seats that can the capacity is 5 people. Then you have 5 more people that ain't contributing to the household. That's no bueno. That's no bueno. No pun intended. So I think it's necessary. Let's get them up out of here, the illegals. And it's people that legally migrated to this country that will say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what this stuff is for. And this is why this is necessary. Now watch this. It's going to bring picking cherries and strawberries. The wage is going to go up for that. And you're going to see my black ass out there picking strawberries. That's what this is necessary for. Salute to Donald Trump.
That doesn't seem like an answer to the question. How do you think these ICE raids are affecting Black employment, Afro-agnostic?
Well,
it did. It's going to bring the price up. Boy, was you paying attention? Go ahead. It's going to bring the price up.
What's the price up? That's not answering.
It's slave labor they're doing with them. It's slave labor.
How's it affecting Black employment?
It's going to bring...
I'll give it back to you. No, I'm saying I'll give it back to you if you want to talk.
I really like this question.
It's going to be a living wage.
Afro-agnostic. Let me Walk. Go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, brother. Afro-agnostic.
I really like this question because it's something that's measurable that we can actually measure. So, like I actually looked up in Texas where they have the most deportations and the most detention of undocumented peoples. And the Black employment has dropped 0.2% from 6.2 to 6. So clearly, it has impacted Black. It could only be said that it impacts Black employment negatively. We don't know if that is a causation of that because causation and correlation. We don't know, but I think clearly we do know that Obama deported more without all the lights and camera and the crazy, broad, sweeping raids that have been going on, the inhumane raids that have been going on. Obama did more. He's not even up to 60% of the deportations by day under Obama. So it's totally ineffective. Now, as far as Black people, I think the real goal of this is change labor relations. It's to kind of change labor in a way that will negatively impact Black people even more. So I can explicate on that more, but you start off with the marginalized people, the people that have the least legal rights, and then you move on from that to the rest of the working class. So I think overall it's an attack on the black working class and the working class in general.
Student X, what do you think is the effect of these ICE raids on Black employment?
Well, like my brother, Afro is, I don't like to think, I like to know. So I like to dive into the numbers, look at the facts. And like him, I did a deep dive as well. And this is going to be one of those, again, take a picture of it, rare moments that where me and brothers in full agreement. Now, if you look at this from the standpoint of, the undocumented population that are Black, they make up about 5.6 of those individuals, about a little over 500,000 people. But yet they're 20% of the non-citizens facing removal from criminal convictions, here, so already, so they're being targeted, clearly, so directly that's going to impact them and their families. But like when the brother mentioned, the Obama deportation, that program was called the Secure Communities Program. It was piloted underneath George W. Bush, but expanded under Barack, reaching, over 1,500 jurisdictions, almost 1,600. And then when we look back at that time, because ultimately it led to 400,000 deportations, which is a lot more than what the Trump administration is trajectory towards right now. Keep in mind that the strategy then for Obama, they had to focus to where we're not going to target the whole community and lump everybody in this lump sum and act like, children who were brought here as, infants, that have spent their whole life here, have no connection to Mexico at all. We're going to just throw people, into a cut. No, it was done much differently. And so it was much more effective because that support from the community in general, but when you look at it, the chilling effect that we saw was that we saw a decline in employment rates among all U.S. born workers, including black workers, and it disrupted local economies, including construction, ag, the hospitality region. 14% of construction workers, they say, are undocumented. There was labor shortage, job opportunities for native-born workers, and roles like site managers, and those that were reduced. So overall, it had a very negative impact.
Can we get a horn?
No, exactly. I don't want to interrupt him. It's coming. That's what you call empirical evidence. That's basically not just your opinion. And honestly, you understand that the car washes aren't on popping like they were. You know what's going on with the farms. I'm sure if you go to Oxnard. So these are real things that are still having an effect. I just want to push back a little bit on the concept that these people are not contributing. They are contributing, and in fact, it turns out,
in a negative way,
they pay way more taxes than a lot of these big businesses do.
Bullshit.
So it's a fact. So I mean, you can say that all you want, but that's not going to change.
They get no federal benefits. Maybe they get a small portion of emergency housing. Only some do. Only a few. Most citizens benefit from that, but other than that, they get no federal money, zero. But yet they work. Undocumented workers, they get their federal taxes taken out their money, their income, but they get none of that. So we're actually feeding off of them in that sense. They're contributing money that we benefit from.
So you saying if you're undocumented woman, you can't get welfare benefits?
No, absolutely not. Because you need a social security
number. That is not true, bro.
It's
going on right now. It's in New York, out here in Cali. Yes, it's going on right now.
First of all,
people say that, but they cannot tell you what specific federal program are they getting benefits from. And when you look at that program online to fill out the application, you need a social security number. And
that's
you need
not
to
true, brother.
Yourself
not
as
true.
It's on the application. You can look online.
Not true.
So actually, and it is true. And the thing about this is, you got people that do this stuff. They may be basically masquerading as somebody here. So you can't say that, immigrants get this stuff because they're immigrants. No, if they're pretending to be citizens and they have fake numbers, fake this, theoretically, you might be able to game the system. But again, they don't provide for that. So I think that that's the real point that you were talking about, Afro-agnostic. So exactly. So. But again, fact check it. You can say what you want to say, but we know that the actuality usually plays out a little bit different. You got something to say about this
table money? To be honest, it's really exploiting these workers. It's exploitation. It's just like, see, this is something, I don't know if Floyd X remember or know this, but this is one of the reasons why my mom and dad had moved to Florida, is because like my pops was a mechanic. The work he would do for $500, somebody undercut him and do it for $200. Now that's good for the economy. That's good for my family, a black family.
It's capitalism. Yeah. Capitalism is good for employment. It's good for an employer to pay less for an employee.
But that's under the table dollars where they're not even paying no taxes, bro.
Yeah. If I can just push back just a little bit, I mean, so when it comes to federal benefits, if you're in most of those situations like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, federal housing is restricted to qualified immigrants. So undocumented immigrants typically don't get that. But there are exceptions like for emergency services, absolutely, they get access to that. WIC, they get access to that. State and local benefits. So like states like California, New York, Illinois, there's healthcare programs. They get that. There's workplace benefits. They get the educational system access to that. In most states, they get access to that. So, I mean, there's a little, there's definitely some benefits there given. Now, overall, doing the math of how does it balance out, I think that they're, for the most part, in terms of, immigrants who are contributing to society and not being a menace, then obviously, that's a positive contribution. But the problem has been that there's been those coming through these cracks, that have been unscrupulous, including, we'll talk about it later, sleeper cells and terrorists that were coming through that porous border, under the Biden administration, and even prior, so, so just, again, they do get benefits.
Yeah, I'm saying in terms of, they get the minuscule benefits under emergency housing. That's all that I know. Now,
okay, can we move on from that? Can we move on away from that?
Hold on. I wanted to make a quick point. I'm saying the ICE raids, what they will do is make these workers more desperate, and that usually will make them more likely to work for less. So that it's going to drive down wages just generally for others who work in that industry. So that's another negative as far as the ICE raids and how, not being selective like Obama, at least if you're going to beef up detention and deportation.
So, infamous Go ahead.
So one thing, even if you are an immigrant and you have a child here, the child is a citizen, correct? That's correct, right? Number one, so they do get some benefits from that. Number two, the sleeper cells and stuff like that, I don't think they come from Mexico. Mexico's sending what type of cells over here. So go get those people. Why are you just dealing with these Hispanic people if you worried about stuff like that? Number three, don't be telling Trump, everybody out here, the truth about these numbers about Obama had more people deported. Tell Trump that he's doing the best. This is the best that's ever been done, so he can actually feel like he's doing something. You don't want to vote.
You got something to say about this, boss man, before we pivot?
No, I think Student X and Brother Afro Agnostic covered it quite effectively, so I have nothing to add.
So we can talk about the 12-day war. Walk, I'm gonna give you the first bite at that apple. What is the 12-day war, and what was accomplished by it, brother?
Well, you seen what happened with Israel and Iran. It's 12 days it was popping until the greatest military force ever assembled in our history laid down the Iranian bitch slap and regulated and shut shit down. Now we're going to have peace and the reason. A lot of people say what they want about Donald Trump, but he's going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, brother. And that ain't the American citizens saying that to do that. But this was a very huge historical thing that he did, man. That was just totally leveled their nuclear capabilities. That's over. We've been hearing about Iran with nukes for years. That's over with. Every president been dealing with that since the 80s. That was on their minds. That's done with forever and ever.
All right, Afro Agnostic. Before I go to you, I want to hear Student X first on this. Okay, yes. Go ahead, Student X. Please retort.
Well, yeah. I mean, sorry, Walk. I hate to tell you, you drank the Trump Kool-Aid on this one, and everyone knows that even to this day, right now, if I had to say do the vote all over again, my position, nothing's changed. Including who I vote for, my analysis, nothing's changed. But the reality of the situation is that Israel was getting banged up and hit so damn hard that Netanyahu called and begged Trump to get a ceasefire. And ultimately, when you're dealing with Trump, the thing that you have to understand is that you can't pay attention to what he says. If you do that, it's like that game where they have like the shells and you moving around and whatnot. You got to try to guess which one the thing is. There you go. No. With Trump, you got to watch what he does. And what he did in this situation was he bombed sites that Israel had already bombed, and that, was deemed to be, ineffective. And then not only that, well prior to any of this newest, incursions happening inside that region, the scientists, and mathematicians that broke down that in order to really penetrate those facilities, that it would take a low yield nuclear weapon. It's agreed upon, damn near unanimously by the military community and whatnot, so it's not even an argument, in terms of, and let's presuppose that those were destroyed. Iran had long already moved in situations out the way, so like I said, the ceasefire was for Israel's benefit. Now, that's not to say that Iran didn't take, a hit and take damage, but remember, the focus of this was mainly focused on Iran's, nuclear program. And of course, from a U.S. standpoint, but from Israel's standpoint, their whole focus was to draw, us into this war. And Trump told them 2 weeks, he ended up doing what he did. But again, it was largely ineffective because those places already been bombed. There was nothing that was accomplished. So I think there's something else going on behind the scenes, and we'll see. But I don't think that it's over. Israel never abides by ceasefire. So if everyone wants to regroup and rearm, I'm telling you right now, then you're going to see a stronger Iran moving forward, and across the whole global South, man, everyone is celebrating Iran, for how they stood up, to the Zionist, empire and the apartheid state of Israel.
Hey, Student Next, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When you're saying that they're celebrating Iran, do you think that they appreciated or respected Iran's tepid response of just shooting at a military base, warning everybody before they shoot it? You think that the countries that support Iran appreciate or respect that?
That's a great question, brother. Great question.
I want to hear the answer.
And my response is absolutely, for those that understand, absolutely yes, because what Iran did not want to do is they understood that America just hit these sites that, that they're not even, concerned with, at this time at all, so, for them to come and escalate the situation would have led to, some more problems and more this to be drawn out. Like I said, this was secured. This was something that was secure behind the doors, behind the White House in Iran. They were agreed that these strikes were going to take place, So they knew, the world didn't necessarily knew, but they knew already. This was symbolic. And that's what I'm telling you. There's something greater that's going on here. I think the people have woken up to the threat of Israel, honestly.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like Smokey with Debo. He tell me to shut up, but when he leave, I'll be talking again. Come on, man. Iran got bitch slapped, bro. That's it. And that's why the 12-day war was the 12-day war. It's over.
I think,
like this Carter. Oh,
listen, Walk. Listen, I don't understand how you could just buy what Trump says.
The same way y'all buy y'all information.
It was destroyed. You're just saying it's destroyed. How does he know that it was destroyed? They got military leaders who've been doing this for 20 years who saying we can't know until we assess the situation. And he's just saying it's completely destroyed. The nuclear program, we set it back decades or whatever he say. It's like, how do you buy that?
So look, in Walt's defense, I mean, the thing is that I'm glad that there are people buying it because, like I said, I think there's something going on behind the scene. You know what I mean? Because too much of the world is waking up now to the threat of Israel. They're learning about the Samson option. They're seeing how they're dealing with the Palestinians and how they're involved in all this conflict and orchestrating situations. You know what I mean? And so, I think the world knows that, that this regime, criminal regime needs to be dealt with one way or another, So, Trump, he's doing too much. He's doing too much snuggling and saying too much positive stuff about Netanyahu, which has always been rumored that he really didn't like him. At the end of the day, so we'll see, man. Like I said, there's something going on. Either it could be where Mark is saying, them versus us. This is all a game. It could be. What I mean? Maybe they're setting up, situation. But like I said, right now, it's for a fact we know that Iran was strong. The missiles that they launched, the supersonic missiles, were penetrated the Iron Dome at will. They destroyed, many military targets inside of Israel, including 1/3 of Tel Aviv. 1/3 of Tel Aviv, the main capital of Israel. You know what I mean? So, like I said, Israel begged the United States to intervene, and this was how the United States intervened. They just stopped it and got this ceasefire. Otherwise, they were going to take. Keep in mind that Israel is a small ass nation, bro. Iran is under 100 million people. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about, bro? Like the only way Israel can even compete is by being armed and given all these, additional assistance. So they couldn't even deal with the Houthis who just got finished hitting them just again last night, real hard.
to the next. Let's hear Brother Afro's take on this.
Okay, I just want to say, and I mean, everybody, I think raised some very good points, but I think if you to really have like an analysis about this 12-day war, you have to have a basic like understanding of the British Empire, the history of the British Empire, the history of Iran, the history of Israel, and the history of U.S. imperialism. And I'll just say, I mean, because we're kind of arguing over did they have a right to bomb them, maybe, or not. No, the argument was were the bombs accurate or not, but did they have a right? Was it justified? Even what they did, they justified, or the justification they claimed was nuclear weapons, just like WMDs. So what? 9, 10 other countries have nuclear weapons. Israel doesn't comply with the non-proliferation standards. So why should Iran have to comply? Why can't they have nuclear weapons? The United States has the most nuclear weapons. They actually are, the United States is the only country to actually use nuclear weapons and actually kill people. So like all this, I think we need to understand that everything you think you understand about this conflict, I don't think you will fully understand unless you understand that one, Israel was installed not as a home state for Israel, but it was installed as a client state for U.S. imperialism. It was designed to create instability in the Middle East. You know, the history is because of the United States. They overthrew Mogadishu. They put in the Shah. They did that. They created the Ayatollahs and the religious right because they destroyed the liberal and the left-wing forces. And they did this in Afghanistan with the Taliban. So I think that is the big thing here. It's not about Israel and Iran. It's about U.S. imperialism in the Middle East.
All right. So, and you know, I will say this. Remember when Israel accidentally killed some big Iran figure, and they just did sort of like a safe face salvo of missiles. It didn't really accomplish nothing. It just like the Iron Dome did its thing. That to me, that was like a political thing about saving face, because you saw the difference between during this 12-day war. You saw how much more effective they were when they were really on it, as far as penetrating and doing damage to Israel. It's just like they did
the first time too.
Wait,
it just wasn't covered like that.
Let me put my point. My point is that that's what happened with the United States when they bombed those little sites, whatever. It's just a show. Sometimes these people just want a little bit of something to be able to sell from a propaganda standpoint, but they weren't really trying to have that smoke with the United States because they understand that they're not competitive with the United States. Their issue was Israel, so they want to focus that on Israel. So that's the reason why, you know, you talk about there wasn't too much done to these the United States sites or something. Honestly, I feel like everybody needs to give Trump a win on this, because if we just kind of walk away from this, you know, that's
it's a major win. But
I'm just saying that the reality is the only way that you can properly determine the effectiveness is inspection. You take that off the table once you take away diplomacy, once you do this military thing, because the bottom line is,
but that's what happened. That's what happened, brother, because now Iran has withdrawn from the IAEA, you know, the International Atomic Agency and whatnot, because it was clear now that agency was a Zionist spy organization that gave data information about who the scientists were and the site information to Israel and the U.S. And then, you know, that's how they were able to get targeted. So they're out of that. So they're going to have some whole new inspection situation. So right now, there's no inspection going on in Iran. And I guarantee you they have incentive now to actually go ahead and build that bomb, because the material was moved away.
That's why the best deal was what they had in place when you had inspection, when you had cooperation. That was your best shot.
Agreed. But then, you know what wasn't the best strategy? Where I give Trump a fail for is when during negotiations, which is a violation in every protocol that exists, you attack a nation. That was Iran's Pearl Harbor. You know what I mean? You know, so that right there was a huge loss. The United States lost credibility. No one could trust them. So Iran right now,
that's not the agreement I was talking about.
They're not standing down.
That's not the agreement I was talking about. Go ahead, Mr. Floyd X.
I just want to play
an agreement. They blew it up.
I just want to play what Trump had to say after the so-called bombing of the nuclear sites and what happened afterwards.
I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great soundbite, but you know, unfortunately, the flip side is true. We have a country, the United States, that don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? Because there's all type of mismanagement and mistakes that's going on that I feel needs to in this administration. Like the caveat would be if this is he really is playing 4D chess and this is some grand scheme, you know, whatnot, you know, and then in the end, you know, we all have to eat crow, you know, I'll be willing to, you know, but you know, from what I'm seeing, that's not that, you know, it doesn't look like that. It looks like mismanagement and terrible decisions.
All right, before we go, let's play that video. You know which video that I'm talking about, Mr. Floyd X. We're gonna have to do that. We'll save that other stuff for the next show because we need to get prepared for Ice-T and spin that back. But I want you to play this video. We're gonna have a video reaction segment. We try to do this regularly, but you know,
this is the woman chastity.
No, this is the one where the liquor store.
Oh, I didn't upload it. It's not uploaded.
Oh my goodness,
I couldn't find it. I was looking for it when the show started.
Okay. All right. So that having been said, thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. You know, click that bell. And in 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes, come on back because we're gonna do spin that back, and we're gonna be talking about the legendary West Coast icon, even though he wasn't born here, Ice-T.